Hi YouTube. I love YouTube. I worship at the YouTube altar. This is my first posting. I just wanted to introduce myself. I have Asperger syndrome. I'm sure many YouTubers have Asperger syndrome. It's a form of autism. I found out I had it when I was 55 years old. Imagine finding out you have a diagnosable disability when you're in middle age. But for me, it was like coming across the Rosetta Stone. All of a sudden, all those weird manuscripts you have, you can now read them. In my case, it was all that weird behavior that I could never quite rationalize in my mind that now made sense. I won't, elaborate or belabor Asperger syndrome. I could in a different video if someone wanted. I'll tell you a couple of little things about it. For me, one of the things that affected was my attitude toward authority. And here's a documented case from the 4th grade when I was 10 years old. And I say documented because my twin brother, who does not have autism, was in the same class in our little fundamentalist Christian private school that we attended in those grades. And I had been cutting up or something. I can't remember the nature of my crime, but the teacher said, "Douglas, you go out into that yard, young man, and you get me a switch." And she was going to switch me across the legs. That was the means of corporal punishment in Mississippi at that time in a fundamentalist private school. So she sent me out to get her a switch. She was telling me to go pick the implement of my own destruction, so to speak. So my twin brother will tell you of his surprise when I returned with a 6-foot-long tree branch with thorns. I was trying, I believe now, in retrospect, to show her that it was irrational of her to ask me to pick the tool that I was going to be hurt with. I felt it was irrational. I now think that was my idea. She says, "Young man, you go right back out to that yard and you get a suitable switch." So I marched back out into that yard, and Stanley will tell you that I then came back in with a 6-inch twig, and I wasn't backing down. The telling thing is that I don't remember a thing after that, and neither does Stanley, but I feel certain it was not pleasant. Another thing about Asperger's, you're very literal minded. A lot of times you don't get idiomatic expressions. For example, on our kitchen table growing up, there was always a salt shaker, Morton salt I think it was, and on it said, "When it rains, it pours." Throughout my childhood, I thought, how idiotic is that? It doesn't always pour when it rains. Sometimes it just sprinkles, To me, that was as clear could be, and when it rains, it pours. It was stupid. It never occurred to me to question that maybe I was missing something here, that maybe it had a meaning I wasn't quite getting. I was just taking it strictly literally. And then I'll give you one more example, and then I'm going to check out from the Bible, the unforgivable sin. Anyone who swears at the Holy Ghost commits the unforgivable sin. I grew up in a very Christian, fundamentalist family. So I lay awake in my bunk bed at night over and over again when I was like 11 years old. And I would repeat this phrase, "What if I said?" And then always in my mind I put quotation marks, "God damn the Holy Ghost." The frisson, the magical sensation that somehow I could damn my soul to hell forever by just taking away the quotation marks, just saying, "God damn the Holy Ghost." Anyway, that's a little bit about me. And in the next series of videos that I'm going to be doing on YouTube, which I love, did I mention that? I really love YouTube. I'm going to be doing some videos about the obsessions of my life as a person with Asperger's. People with Asperger's often have a collection of obsessions, and I definitely did. And some of my, and they're odd, this is strictly Asperger's, but sometimes Asperger's people have very interesting obsessions. Some of them are scientists, some of them are inventors. Like me, I have a patent. And I think you might be interested in some of my ideas. But anyway,